When most people think about Islay whiskies, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Peat. Now, today we're going to jump into a whiskey from the Isle of Islay that is known for not being a peated whiskey. So let's see how the Black Sheep of Islay stacks up against its peaty brethren. Thank you for joining me once again on a tasting and review on McIntyre's malts. Today, many of you are very familiar with this whiskey. It seems to be talked about more and more, and they've just recently released their second edition of the cask strength version. And that whiskey that we are doing today is the Bunnahabhain 12-year-old. Now, this is basically the core offering from Bunnahabhain, very readily accessible in Australia. I picked up this one on special for $90, which is a great buy, and it's typically in that range between $90 and $110 and in most retail. Bunnahabhain is by no means a young distillery, being established in 1881, and one of the great things that appeals to whiskey enthusiasts like myself is that this whiskey is non-chill filtered, natural color, and 46.3% ABV. So everything, all the boxes ticked, right? Great start. On the back, on the label, it says that our 12-year-old is matured in sherry, bourbon, and whiskey casks, which is interesting. Maybe it's other whiskeys outside of bourbon, for a tranquil balance of soft, sweet fruit and nuts with a hint of seaside smoke. This is a malt with many layers to explore. So let's pour a dram and start with the nose. Look at that color on that. Natural color. And this is one of those things that you really appreciate color when the whiskey has naturally derived that color from the cask. All right, on the nose. A wonderful sherry influence straight away. Beautiful, rich toffees, roasted nuts, cranberries. There's vanilla in there. It's got a really nice rich nose on it. It's lovely. It's got so much character. Just it leaps out of the glass straight onto my nose. It's a beautiful nose on this one. A little bit of the saltiness coming through now. The raisins are there. What a fantastic nose. Absolutely, as per mentioned, there is no sign of peat at all on this one. Just a good, high quality sherried whiskey. It's oozing character right away. It's got a great nose. Okay, this is one of those whiskeys with such a lovely nose that I want to take time and enjoy it, but it's so enticing that I want to get it onto my palate and see what it's all about. So let's try now with the first sip. Wow, man. This is a fantastic whiskey. I'm getting beautiful dried fruits, maltiness. The oak started to unfold at the back of my palate, that beautiful woody note filling up the back of my nasal cavity. A gorgeous, rich sherry influence the toffee's there. There's a nuttiness on this, and then it's got a really nice finish. It's hanging around on my palate. It's just sitting. It's still there, and you're left with that lovely coastal note that they talk of, the little hint of saltiness that I find very pleasing in a good sherried whiskey, when you get that lovely balance of the fruitiness and the little bite of the salt that contrast the flavors beautifully. Fantastic on the nose, and even better on the palate. That's a great whiskey. Now, obviously, it's not the first time that I've tried this, but this is one of those whiskeys that I keep going back to and grabbing the bottle, and every single time I pour myself a dram, I'm extremely satisfied and thankful that I picked up the bottle of Bunnahabhain 12 and poured myself a glass. An absolutely full bouquet on the nose. It's just abundance of wonderful scents coming off the glass. And at only 12 years, right? A lot of whiskeys take a bit more time to build that character. The Bunnahabhain spirit is matured in some fantastic casks from what I can gather, and perhaps it ages very well in that time frame. The 12 is incredible. Great value whiskey. I picked this up for $90, non-chill filtered, natural color, 46.3% ABV, gorgeous nose, gorgeous palate. I would absolutely recommend this one. I would have it on the shelf all the time. It's a fantastic whiskey, a go-to. If you haven't tried Bunnahabhain 12, you need to go and get a bottle. Let's see if anything else is further developed while it's been opening up, and try on the final sip and the finish now. Gorgeous, just toasted nuts, toffee, vanilla, dried fruits, the raisins. There's a sweetness, almost if you consider, the honey roasted nuts when they coat them, and there's that balance of the nutty and the toffee coating, the sugar, the crunchy crystallized sugary toffee on the nut. Just fantastic nose. Let's get to the palate. A lovely finish, mouth-watering, just this gorgeous, decadent sherried note, a warmth, toasty. This is something that would be fantastic on a cold night, sitting by a fireplace. It's absurd how good the Bunnahabhain 12 is. I cannot get enough of it. It's one of the whiskeys that so far has been the most impressive to me on my journey, at least at the point I'm currently at now. If you love sherried whiskey, you will absolutely love the Bunnahabhain 12. It's one hell of an Islay whiskey without the peat, a fantastic example of what else can come from a whiskey region that doesn't sort of fit to the normal expectations in that area. So hats off to Bunnahabhain. Thank you for being here. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments, have you tried the Bunnahabhain 12? Have you tried some of their other expressions? What are your favorite expressions from Bunnahabhain? And until next time, as always, make sure to enjoy your whiskey responsibly. Thanks for joining, guys. See you on the next one.